I'm interested in the 7 ways you talked about in the very beginning that your father handed down, specifically the last one, if you could repeat the effectiveness.
Effectiveness is the measure of truth.
And I'm interested in that in an old culture that lived on the island in the Western way, where you have to deal with money.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, okay.
Incorporate that.
Sure.
When a lot of truth is, for most people, I think, is the meaning of more money.
Yeah. All cultures have had the equivalent of money. But in a healthy system, and we'll have to call this my opinion, based on this tradition, in a healthy system, money is used as a tool. In the old, for instance, we talk about barter and money as if they were 2 different things, but they're really not. Money is a lot more convenient. You don't have to carry pigs and tapa cloth on your back. You know, you can give the equivalent of that. However, in the old days, especially in Hawaii, with this last principle, and it's a good example because it comes from the word pono. And pono refers to that principle, but it also means harmony, and it means success and prosperity. But the harmony is the key here, because it means to successfully do something while keeping everything in harmony. It has nothing to do with exploitation. It has nothing to do with taking something away from somebody. See, there's a common misconception in modern life about greed. Okay? Greed is when you want something and you don't want someone else to have it. That's greed. Greed is not when you just want a lot of stuff. That's not greed, because the universe is not limited. If there were only so much stuff and you wanted it all, that would be greed. That would be very non-Hawaiian. Okay? Okay? But if you just want a lot of stuff and there's more stuff than you could possibly ever have, that's not greed. Because you're not trying to take it away from somebody. Okay? There's a big difference here. When we talk about effectiveness in terms of pono and success, for instance, we're talking about success that is also beneficial to everybody concerned. When in modern times they've come up with the concept of win-win, which is really an ancient concept. Right? In old Hawaii here, the land used to be divided in what were called ahupua'a, which were in their ideal, like on a circular island like this, ideally these were pie-shaped wedges that went from the sea all the way up to the center of the island. And even in other kinds of areas, the same concept was they tried to carry it out. Now this would be given to a chief. This would be what a chief was in charge of. And the idea was to help, you would not just have success at the sea with the fishermen, but the whole thing would cover all of the needs. It would cover the sea, and would cover the land where the taro was planted. It would cover the forests where the pigs were hunted, and the feathers from the birds were taken, and the herbs and things for healing were, and it was the harmony of that whole thing. And then that would be shared with people in the other sections as needed. So success for one portion of the island was only success when all portions of the island maybe not had the exact same numbers of things, but were all happy and healthy. See? If you are using money, again, for your own growth and for the health and happiness of other people as well, wow, money's a wonderful, convenient thing. Okay? If you're using it, as some people do in modern society, and we can look all the way back to ancient times and find similar people, where you're doing it to have your own power separate from anybody else and keep other people from having it, and trying to control it all, then you're misusing that tool. But the tool is not at fault. I remind you of the biblical saying, which is also often misquoted. Many people say money is the root of all evil, and that's not what the Bible says. The Bible says greed for money is the root of all evil. And you can look that up. Right? That's a big difference there, you see. Especially when greed means wanting it all yourself. Okay? So in the old days, they used here in Hawaii and other places throughout the Pacific and elsewhere in the world, they used cowrie shells as a trading item. They used tapa cloth. They used anything that was valuable was used to trade with. And now money today really just represents goods and services. That's all that gives it its value. And so it's really a form of barter. Just a convenient form. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's how it relates to Pono. Okay.
Recently I subscribed to a magazine about money because I thought I need to learn more about this. I can hardly read it. Maybe it's just me, but it scares my crew so bad. Because it's about, you know, have you saved enough? Is your retirement going to be secure? Put your money here. You better put it over there. Somebody will take it away from you. Whatever. You know, it's really hard.
There are better books. It reminds me of a book I bought called How the Body Works. And the whole book was about how the body doesn't work, okay? In the same way, it was a scary book, okay?
I'm just thinking, so many of us are anxious about money.
Sure.
And maybe you could say a little about how not to.
Well, I'm going to quote from a famous teacher on that one. Well, this is going to be a paraphrase, but don't worry about tomorrow. Take care of today. Okay? Tomorrow will take care of itself. Even the Hawaiians had a similar saying, which was, don't borrow trouble from tomorrow. Okay? If you are doing what's appropriate today, okay, doesn't mean you don't have to think about tomorrow. Sure, we can make plans, but plans are worthless unless you do something today that's related to them. So you do today the very best you can today, have the best expectations you can, and trust that either it'll all be wonderful, or if any part of it isn't, you'll have the power and ability and resources to make it wonderful, or at least to diminish the damage. Okay? You do what you do and you can do today, and then today becomes tomorrow. The skills you learn today, the things that you do to prepare the nets for the fishing. Of course, the fishermen knew that they were going to go out and fish. They didn't worry about it. They got the nets ready. And that was a day-to-day thing. They repaired the boat, or they built one, or they did whatever had to do, but they did that today. Okay? If you do that, and then the biggest thing of all, you see, and this is the hardest thing of all in today's society with all the different kinds of ideas going around. It's real important to have something to trust. You can choose to trust anything that you want. You can also choose to distrust anything that you want. If you don't trust anything, you're a lost soul. And you're going to be very insecure about everything in life. If you believe in God, I mean believe in God as a source of life and abundance and goodness and support and all of that, wow, you'd be amazed at how rich you'll be in all the things that count in your life that are important to you. If you can believe in your own spirit, if you can believe in your higher self in the same way. If you could believe in the economy of the United States with that same kind of trust, you could make that work for you, at least economically. Okay? But if you don't trust anything, you're lost. If you don't believe in God, if you don't trust the economy, if you don't trust, or the system, if you don't trust yourself. So many people are looking for something to trust, but they're looking for something with distrust. You could believe in the most outrageous philosophy of all, really weird stuff. But if you believed in it, and you felt that that was a source of goodness for you, it would work. Because everything comes from God anyway. Okay? No matter what weird framework it's put in. Okay? When you believe enough, then you'll have what you believe. And those words were given without any qualifications. It didn't say what to believe in. Right? But if you want the greatest kind of security, it isn't in the amount of money that you save, or the right bonds, or money market, and all that kind of, that stuff, you know, you want to take, just like you would do anything. You want to buy a pair of shoes that fits, but that's not where your security is going to be. Because if you don't have the sense of security, no matter how good the place is where you put your money, somehow or other, subconsciously or otherwise, you'll arrange to lose it. Whereas if you have a sense of security in yourself, in God, in life, you can keep it under the mattress and it'll never be touched. Okay?
My experience with things like that, you know, about the messages of doom and gloom, or that intuition usually doesn't have that fear base around it. Usually when there's a fear aspect to it, like you should be doing this or not, people are selling something. But if you look at what they're sharing, the information, without the fear, then you can run it through your own computer and see if it feels it. But usually when they're trying to instill fear, they're selling something.
That's a good insight. We have a teaching saying that we use as a guide too, which is never make a decision based on fear. Now, if you feel fearful about something about the future or anything, an illness or whatever it might be, that's a common experience. But before you make any decisions, calm down. Get into the best kind of state you can, as much as you can, in a non-fearful state, and then make a decision. Now, if it's a good decision, it's going to be the same decision you would have made in the fearful state. But very often, things look different. And new ideas and inspirations come in. New solutions are possible and available in the calm state. So if you've got a really important decision, we highly recommend get calm first. Then make the decision.